Hey guys, welcome to session number 35 of the Trailer Music Composers Podcast.
One man with one microphone who says he bought Disney Plus for the kids. Welcome to the Trailer Music Composers Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another session of the Trailer Music Composers Podcast. In this session, I wanted to cover something which actually I think is kind of life-changing. Before I do that, I'm going to put a caveat. I think that's the right word. I'm going to put a caveat into the episode. You may hear rhythmic tapping the whole way through the episode. It's because I've chosen today, a glorious sunny day, to wear flip-flops, or if you're Australian, to wear thongs. Not like that, British crowd. So you know. So you may want to sample that and use that as your ticking in your next trailer cue. Anyway, this thing I want to cover today is one of those things. Again, I feel very, very privileged to have the hindsight of someone who's gone from, you know, a composer in my bedroom to a very well-paid, award-winning composer in another room in my house, which is this idea of choice. Now, so some of you may or may not know, I think some of you do, that I went for a spell of writing books about creativity and inspiration and improving your life, because I feel like this stuff is something I'm incredibly passionate about. You know, I just did it, produced them, sent them out, great. A little bit of money, got a few fans, great, and hopefully changed some people's lives. You know, I say that sounds really like overly dramatic when I say it like that. I don't mean, you know, I've changed your life. I mean, you know, for the better, you know, brought something good to their life. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is one of the books I wrote I gave it as a freebie, really, because it was so short. It was more of a booklet. I gave it like a cheesy marketing name just because I couldn't think of any way to describe what I'm saying. I called it the 10-minute method. You know, that sounds like a sexual act, doesn't it? You know, for us aspiring 10-minuters. But what it was actually about was an idea of choice. So the reason I'm relating this to my hindsight thing at the moment is because, you know, I can work very little hours, I can spend lots of time with my family, I can put time into passion projects of my own, you know, and when I do get to work, my work is writing music, and it's amazing, and I get paid very well to do it, and I've won some awards, I've had some recognition, you know, I'm living the dream that I hoped of myself. And I can think to myself, okay, well now let's assess my life, now to then, or then to now, what has changed. And that's the beautiful thing. I can look back and go, oh, actually, there isn't actually a lot of things that have changed. And this is why I want to talk to you about choice, because I'm talking to a lot of you who are aspiring composers, or even those of you who are professional composers. You know, I guarantee a lot of you, myself included, there's still, even though you've made it in your eyes, or other people's eyes made it, there's still a little bit of unsatisfaction. You know, the grass is always greener and all that. So I wanted to talk about choice. Now, every day we make choices, right? Yep, okay, I'm going to have, today I'm going to have bran flakes over bacon and eggs. As a vegetarian, I probably wouldn't have bacon anyway, so bran flakes over the eggs. So, you know, that's one choice we make. We choose whether to get out of bed or not, or to lie in, to hit snooze, to have a cold shower, hot shower. You know, all these endless choices. I've talked about decision fatigue before, but this isn't decision fatigue. What this is you guys and myself making a choice. Because what that choice is, and I don't mean like a choice between the righteous path and the path to evil. I mean a choice on what you spend your time doing. Because do you know what? The stuff you spend your time doing is the stuff that you will still be doing when you're successful. And that's the really amazing thing, you know. Actually, if you want to be a writer, the thing you choose to do is write. If you want to be a composer, the thing you choose to do is compose. If you want to be an actor, you choose the thing is to act. And that's the really vital thing. You need to practice, and you need to love it. I don't mean love it like constantly, like unrealistic, unending love for this thing. I mean, you know, you need to enjoy it. You need to feel curious about it. It needs to be drive behind it. Because it's the thing that you'll still be doing in the future. Yes, you might be getting paid more, but you will still be doing it. And that's the thing, you know. So often I had this like glamorous idea in my mind. I mean, well, I'll say this bit first, then I'll go on to my counter argument. I had this glamorous idea in my mind that actually, you know, once you make it, some of these things I won't have to do. And actually, you still have to do them, but you also then have the choice to pay someone else to do it. For instance, mixing. You know, though you guys should know by now that I don't really mix my own stuff. I am capable of doing it, but I don't like doing it, so we get Toby Mason, who is an amazing genius of a man to mix all my music that's released through Elephant and Mammoth. And I love that. I love that isn't part of my process anymore. I mean, obviously, those of you in the audience will be going, well, technically, Richard, it is part of your process because the way you write, yes. Yes, I will be doing some balancing. Yes, I will be doing some, tactical EQ. Yes, I'll be doing that, but I won't be then having to sit there and think about, my headroom and all that jazz. So that's one of the choices that I chose not to have that in my process. Because, you know, back then, the stuff I was doing is still the same. Back then, and I'm talking about when I made the tactical choice to work enough hours to pay all my bills, teaching music, but also chose to not work all the time so that I could hone my craft, which was writing music. So I was still doing the same thing. Back then, I was writing music in all different styles because I just love creating. You know, back then, I had a blog somewhere, I'm sure, recording, I've always had lots of projects, and that's the wonderful thing, I still do. And the reason I'm saying this to you is this hindsight thing. If you want to be a trailer music composer, that's what you need to be doing, because you know what? That's the thing you will still be doing in all those years' time when you've made it and you've got your awards and, you can buy all the organic cacao powder for your porridge. It's a wonderful realisation that actually you can choose to do what you want with your time. And you're probably going, duh. Yeah, and the reason I'm saying this is not actually because that's the main point. The main point is because, you know what? If you're unsatisfied doing the things you're doing now, you will still be unsatisfied doing the things you're doing now. Later. The money will change things. Obviously it gives more freedom and not so much stress about things like that. The awards will change things because you can be like, hey, I'm an award-winning composer now, rather than I'm a composer, but it won't change the fundamentals. If you're unsatisfied writing the music you're writing now, what will make you satisfied? It might be that, actually, I don't want to write music. I want to be a playwright. Or it might be that, actually, you're right, Rich, I am unsatisfied in my 9 to 5 because I want desperately to be a trailer music composer. I'm going to speak to my boss and be like, dude, can I have like a day off per week? At pay cut. I know Tim Ferriss talked about this in his amazing book, The 4-Hour Work Week, where he's like, quit whining, go see if you can get some time off work. And that's the thing. So then we move on to the second phase of this realization that, stuff will still be the same. The day-to-day will still be the same. The quotidian of your life will remain. You know, you get up, you eat, you do a bit of work, you eat, you do a bit of work, you eat, you do something fun, you go to sleep. Probably not always the same thing, you know. There'll probably be some people in there and other activities. So you have to think, okay, well, if that's the case, if the stuff I'm still doing now will be the stuff I'm still doing then, and I'm still unsatisfied, but I know the things I'm doing are the things I want to be doing, how can I deal with that unsatisfaction? And I talk about, you know, obviously going for walks, you've got to kind of dig deep to find out what that unsatisfaction really is. You know, whether it's just plain jealousy that they're achieving and you're not, or whether it's, you know, maybe something a bit deeper, like a spot of depression, you know, whatever it is. You need to dig deep into that, and if you need help, you need to get help. But also, you need to have tools. I'm a huge fan of having tools. And I don't mean, you know, so I got my hammer, and I got my drill, and I got my screwdriver. Admittedly, yes, I do have those tools, but I don't carry them around with me for those moments when the blues monster comes in. And when I say the blues monster, I'm not talking about a horrific monster that plays blues riffs at me constantly. I'm talking about, you know, those moments when you're on a downward cycle. Because we all have them. We're all on cycles. Everything we do is cyclical, whether you appreciate that or not. It's fact. Everything is cyclical. It's just sometimes the cycles are longer or shorter, or sometimes they're so imperceptibly short that you don't see them as cycles, which kind of is like a nice microcosm, not even a microcosm, a nice reflection, a nice metaphor for music. You know, these vibrations in the air that are happening so fast that we perceive them as sound. So what do? We got these. I'm already doing the things I want to be doing. You know, I get up, I write music, and then I go to bed. But I'm unsatisfied. I'm still having problems, feeling like I'm doing the right thing, I'm on the right path. Now I want to introduce you to a few friends of mine, okay, that are going to really help. And they all kind of centre around the idea of, I say journaling, but it doesn't have to be journaling, you know. It could just be do what I'm doing. I mean, for me, this is mild therapy, because I'm often talking to you about my own things, because I know, as a creative person, you think along the same lines as me. Or at least, if you don't, hopefully you do now. Or if you don't, you know, great. It's always good to have slightly differing views. It creates dynamism. So they centre around the idea of journaling, of space and of thoughts. I've talked about getting space in your life by walking and meditating and stuff like that. But the other thing is journaling, you know. Just sitting down with a pen and paper and writing, you know, just asking yourself big questions. You know, what do I want with my life? Why do I feel so rubbish? And just be honest, completely honest. I used to be terrified of writing what was actually going on in my head, just in case someone actually realised how crazy and insane I was. But, you know, after years and years of doing it, you go, oh, this isn't so bad. In fact, some of this is kind of poetic. You know, and a lot of you will probably have dabbled in lyrics at some point in your life anyway, so you kind of have been doing journaling in some form or another. It's just taking thought and making it palpable, you know, something tactile that you can hold and look at, and also getting it out of your head. So, you know, I used to do the amazing thing called morning pages from Julia Cameron's Artist's Way, which if any of you have read, you'll know how amazing it is. If you haven't read it, go check it out, because it's super awesome. It's a lovely kind of spiritual approach to creativity, which I love. You know, obviously I'm a big spiritual guy. I'm not big, 5'10" and a bit, but I mean I'm big on spirituality. So you can go check that out. The morning pages is basically where you just wake up first thing in the morning, you just write whatever comes into your head. I mean, I remember the first few pages, I swear, were just like, I'm tired, I'm still tired, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, why am I so tired? Because, this was back in the day when I'd have to get up to go to work. Well, I'd have my sort of hour-long drive to get to work, so I'd have to get up half an hour earlier to do these morning pages, and it was a bit of a hassle. But actually, what it often showed me was that the problems I had going on in my head weren't problems, they were stories I was telling myself, or they were just thoughts that were creating an emotional response in my body. And obviously, as you know, the brain doesn't know the difference between a real or imagined thought. So if you have a bad thought, your body will respond in a physiological way to that thought. So if you remember a bad situation, hey, guess what? You're going to start pumping your body full of adrenaline. That's why worrying and stressing is so difficult. Such a difficult topic, because actually we all know it's pointless and we all know it probably is doing harm, but blimey is it hard not to, right? And that's why journaling's quite good. And I actually don't recommend you just sit down and just think and just go, right, why on the top of your page. I actually think this is a huge one that you should write. You should start a process of gratitude. And that's why I said not necessarily journaling. Of being grateful. This is something that's come late in my life, actually. I think I was a rather ungrateful child, and I feel like actually, I thought the world owed me stuff. But actually, the world doesn't owe you anything. You make of the world what you will. And gratitude, being grateful for the things I have, has been a huge thing. And I'm not necessarily saying about sitting down, oh, thank you for this meal, that type of stuff. For those of you who aren't into that, I'm not going there, although I do like doing that. I'm saying, let's take this gratitude thing and use it as a way to shift our dissatisfaction. So if you're thinking, okay, well, I'm doing all the stuff I will be doing in the future when I'm successful, i.e. doing massive bombs and huge epic builds, but I still feel like my music's rubbish and I still feel sad. Obviously seek help, but try this as well. Try being grateful. And what I mean is this, actually, I'm sure amidst the endless dissatisfaction with your sample libraries, you probably have some amazing sounds going on there. And if you don't, you probably have a microphone, i.e. I have a microphone right here in my hand in this iPhone. And that's how I record these podcasts. So I was really worried that my production level wouldn't be good enough. And you know what? I do these podcasts and walk, and they're often windy, and no one really complains. And if they do, I'm sorry, guys, but, I have to fit this into my busy schedule of being a family man and a composer. And plus, I love being out in the nature. It's awesome. I digress. Being grateful for the things you have. So if you sit down and you've done your track and you're like, okay, I don't like this, I'm feeling sad, am I a failure, I'm just such an imposter, stop. Take a moment, maybe just write this down. You know what, I'm super grateful for this. Think, okay, you know what, I'm super grateful for that I actually have the time to sit and write music. I'm super grateful that I have this wonderful podcast to listen to when I'm looking for inspiration. I'm super grateful I have all these amazing sounds. You think about 20 years ago, would you have had that stuff in home? No. The gratitude for what you have enables you to use those limitations as a good thing. Flip, flop, flip, flop. That was dramatic emphasis, by the way. Dramatic pause. And again, this is all to me too. I'm not exempt from this by any means. I am so incredibly grateful. I have a phone that I can walk around in a wood and talk into and not look so crazy because it looks like I'm on the phone. If I was walking around with my Zoom recorder doing this, everyone would be like, okay, he's bonkers. But the context has shifted. I'm very, very grateful for this phone because I get to communicate to you guys. All 7 million of you. No, it's definitely not that high. I am super grateful for whatever it is. And what you'll notice is if you practice this, just 3 things, just practice this daily, you will notice such a big difference. And also, you might even notice an immediate shift in your mood. Because then what you're doing is you're changing your energy, right? You're changing your vibration. You're no longer this kind of slow, sad, vibrating thing. You'll increase. This energy will increase. You will feel better. And you might be able to re-attack that track that you're feeling sad about. Or you might even start being like, you know what? I'm really grateful for everything I have. I am an incredibly lucky person. I live in a safe world. A safe part of the world, you could say. I have clean air, I have clean water, I have food readily available around the corner, isn't that stuff's just amazing. But we want to use this gratitude tool and these journaling things to help us through those moments, because you know what, as creative people, our mood swings can be very, very big. But we can also learn to understand them so that we can then be more productive when we're working, and we can be more positive when we're working. Because again, the vibrations you put into your music go out into the world. So if all you have is like an SM57 and Cakewalk Pro, then do something with that. Do something with that. Be grateful for those two amazing tools. If all you have is a cracked version of Reason, hello me back in 2007, use that. Because you know what? My cracked version of Reason landed me a placement on a national ad campaign that over 3 years gained me £60,000. I mean, isn't that amazing? But at the time I was like, I don't have Pro Tools, I can't afford outboard gear, I don't have anything decent, I'm rubbish. But I didn't understand gratitude then. I didn't understand a true appreciation for the situation. And now I'm like, okay, well, I have the money to buy all that stuff, but I don't want to buy it. Because I have so much stuff. I have too much stuff. Too many sample libraries, too many of this, because I can't even, I don't. Some people are like, have you seen this in Omnisphere? And I've used Omnisphere for blooming ages, and I still haven't opened it up, really, it's just one of the embarrassing moments where like, oh, this sound on that library, and I go, I didn't even know there was a piano in that library. So here we go. I'm just going to sort of sum up a little bit now, because the breeze is picking up, and I feel annoyed when the wind is blowing into my microphone, just because then it's like, so you want to think about this. Where do I want to be in 5 years? What do I want to be doing then? And if you're not doing it already, you need to start. If you're like, you know what, when I'm rich and famous, I'm going to give 10% of my money. If you're not doing it now, you won't be doing it then. So if you want to tithe your money, start doing it now. It doesn't feel less difficult when you earn more money, and I'll tell you, it feels maybe a little bit more difficult tithing 10% when you earn more money. If you want to be like, oh, you know what, I want to be like a really peaceful, meditating man or woman when I'm rich and famous and amazing, you need to be doing that now. If you want to be a master of trailer music, then you need to practice mastering it now. Do you get me? And if you are doing those things, you want to be doing then, but you're still a little unsatisfied, you need to get a piece of paper and a pen and ask yourself some really important questions. What do I really want? And I don't mean like, I want outboard gear, and, I said outboard gear again, didn't I? I want a jumbo jet, not those things. I mean like, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel calm? Do you want to feel like productive? Do you want to feel busy? Whatever it is. Think about how you're going to feel, and then what stuff is going to make you feel like that. If you want to feel calm and you're already meditating, what is going to bring calm into your life? I mean, I'm going sort of strangely psychoanalytical here, but this stuff is so important, and so many people just don't talk about it. They're like, yeah, being a musician is all about producing quality tracks and selling it. That's it. No, it's not. You have to be a good person too. You have to be a good person, man. Stop bullying me. You have to think about your life in a holistic way. And I'm talking to myself again, guys. Don't forget to meditate, Richard. Okay. you have to think about what you can do to get there and what you can bring to your life now that will accelerate you there. Because you know what? If you're doing everything now that you want to be doing then, and if you feel entirely satisfied with your life, do you know what? That probably means that you're going to get there faster. Because the times in my life when I've been happiest, the things I've wanted have come to me quicker. And the amount of trailer placements I get when I'm on holiday, or that I get when I'm walking in the woods playing with my kids with my family, it still astounds me. It's like, it's my birthday the other day. Oh yeah, 2 people have just bought my course. Amazing. Because you know what you're doing is like, I've talked about this with your music, you're just this beacon of energy, right? And as we know with resonant strings, or sympathetic strings, sympathetic resonance, like will resonate with like. So when you're there vibrating this lovely happiness and this like, yeah, I love everything, thank you, trees are awesome, then what's going to happen? I'm not going to say like army of trees are going to come at you. The good stuff you want is going to be there. That's why it's really important to think about what you want. And not just like, I want 7 awards, 17 placements per year, and 200 grand per annum. You want to think about, I want to feel content with my life. I want to feel calm. I want to spend time. You want to think about everything. Because winning the awards and earning all that money and getting all those placements, it won't fix all those other things. But fixing all those other things may just help you move forward with your music. I'm going to go, I probably will end up diving super deep into this on another episode, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Think about what you want. Your life is about choice. Your career is about choice. Choose the things you want to do now and do them. Because those are the things, if you want them then, in the future, you should be doing them now. I was really, I want to be one of those people who's like, yeah, I just work a little bit in the morning and then go surfing. Or something like surfing. So I make sure that I do that now. And I'm so glad I did, because, you know what, I get to be around when my kids are growing up. As opposed to, I'm going to work super hard until they go to uni and then I'm going to retire. I'm not knocking that. If that's your choice, that's your choice. Awesome. You're on your own path, I'm on my own path. I don't have any right to judge, but you need to establish what it is you want, make those choices to do those things now, and if those things still aren't bringing you satisfaction, try a little gratitude, try a little bit of journaling, see if that helps. You guys are absolute legends. Again, I am absolutely gobsmacked by how much love I'm getting for this podcast. It's just, it's like, if I had socks on right now, I feel like they would literally fly off my feet by having my socks blown off me. I feel like that sounds really rude, but I don't mean it like that. I feel like there's an English expression that's like, oh, you just blew my socks off, in a good way. That's the kind of expression I'm going for. But one thing I would just love to ask you guys one favour. I have lots of listeners and lots of lovely emails, comments, messages, saying how much you guys are enjoying it, and I absolutely love that. But you know what? I would love to ask you one favour. He says, stepping into a hugely windy part of... Actually, it's a golf course just here right now. Oh, gosh. I'd like to ask you one favour, guys. Could you spare me 1 minute, perhaps even 30 seconds, to post a review? Just a little comment. Give me a rating on iTunes. That would just be so wonderful. A couple of you have done it, and that's amazing, and I'm really, really grateful that you have. And I just ask this favour. Please leave a review and a comment. It just completely lifts my mood when you guys share the love. So thanks for listening, guys. You're absolute legends. I wish you all the best in your endeavours to be trailer music composers or production music composers, or or smash hits on Spotify, whatever it is, because we're all on our little paths together, and it's not a competition. I'm going on to another podcast episode here. I'll quickly summarise. I grew up thinking that music was like a limited thing. There's only a few spots for you guys. You've got to compete with each other madly in one. No, you don't. One man's success, one woman's success does not prevent anyone else from succeeding. We're all in this together, guys. Let's help each other up, and I hope I'm helping you move forward. Yeah, absolute legends. Thanks, guys, and I will speak to you through my iPhone and iTunes, etc. In the next episode. Take care.